Hi, everyone. It can be difficult to take the pieces of information that you get from a peer-reviewed scholarly article and turn it into a properly formatted APA reference. So today I'm going to share with you how to do that piece by piece. My name is Julie 𝐂𝐡𝐚𝐩𝐭𝐞𝐫𝐬, and I work at the Graduate School of Education and Psychology at Pepperdine University. So today we're going to take a screenshot of an article, this article here, The Physical Health Consequences of PTSD, and I'm going to show you the steps for how to turn it into a correctly formatted APA reference. So if this was an article I found in the Pepperdine database, the library database, and I want to just point out a couple of things. First of all, we can see there's the title here of the article, the name of the journal, and then we have some other information here, the year, the volume, the issue number, the page numbers. But I just want to point out this little button here, which says Cite. Sometimes in PDFs or on, DOI address, somewhere where you get to the article, you may see a button or a link that says Cite. If you see that, I would go ahead and try to use it because usually you'll at least have the information in text form. And then what you can do is turn it into a reference. So what I did was I went previously, before I started this, to that website and copied and pasted the citation. And I'm going to paste it right here. And then I'm going to go through the steps with you to show you how to set that up. So if I had a reference page, this might be one of my references on the reference page. And I'm just going to show you the correct look of it. And then we'll talk about what you would do for next steps. So there's some information that is on this reference so far that I need and some information I don't need. I need all the author names. I need the year. I need the name of the article. I need the name of the journal. I need the volume number, issue number, pages, and the DOI information. Okay, so all of that is good. So I'm going to get rid of this information because that is not required in APA. So as long as you have the authors, the year, the title of the article, the journal name, then we'll talk a little more about these other numbers. So let's work with the authors first. When you have an APA reference, you begin with the last name, then a comma, then you include the first and middle initials. And you do so by putting a period after the first initial, including a space, and then a period after the middle initial. Add a comma, go on to the next last name, another comma, and here this one's just the first initial, so it's a period after that. Before the last author, in this case there are three, before the last author you have to add an ampersand, which is that and symbol. So I'm going to do that, then put a comma, then put my period and space. So now my authors are in APA format. So the first thing that comes in your reference is your authors. You do not change the order of the authors as they are given in the article. So you can see here we have Maria L. Casella, Bruce Fresca, and Douglas Fanti. These are not in alphabetical order, and that is the way you should read them. The ordering of them has something to do with their prominence in the research process. We just leave that the way they are presented. So that is the who of your reference. Next, we're going to put the when, which in this case is the year. And we'll put a period after the who, put a period after the when. Then I'm going to go into the article name. In this case, this is kind of helpful because with APA, you only capitalize the first word of the title, which is here the word the, the first word of a subtitle, which here is and then any proper nouns. And here we have two proper nouns, the same one, PTSD. We're going to keep those capitalized the and capitalize the T of that. So that looks good so far. Okay, I'm just doing the actual text. We'll figure out the spacing in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and write out Journal of Anxiety Disorders as it's written here. And then the next thing, a piece of information you need is the volume number. And that here is 27. So you can see what happens after the journal name is you have the volume number, the issue number, and then the pages. So this is very specifically formatted in APA. You italicize the journal name and the volume. And then in no italics, you use the parentheses around the issue number. Then you put a comma and then the page number. Okay. The last thing we're going to add is a hyperlink to the DOI. And this is the DOI number, but this isn't formatted correctly for APA. For APA, you need to use HTTPS. I'm going to check to make sure that's right. You can see it's right here. https://doi.org/ and then this is the numeric designation for this article. So you can use it like that. And then I'm going to make this a hyperlink. To do this, I highlight it, copy, and then I'm going to right click and choose hyperlink and then paste it. So now I've got a hyperlink. And then the next thing I'm going to do is if everything is there as I need it, I'm going to make this double spaced and hanging indent. So first I'm just going to go to line spacing options and then make this double. Make sure that all of these numbers are 0. And then for special, under indentation, I'm going to choose hanging. And it doesn't have to be in Times New Roman now with the 7th edition, but just for consistency, since I set up the document at the top that way, I'm going to add that down too. So now I'm just going to compare that because I set it up a little bit ago, and I'm going to make sure everything is correct. So I'm going to compare the Pasella, that all that is the same. Physical health consequences. Okay, so everything looks good there as I set it up earlier. This is how you would refer to the parenthetical citation if you write something in a sentence and you're paraphrasing. Then at the end of the sentence, you would put Pasella et al., period, comma, 2013. You would use it as a narrative, it would look like that. The other, so you can see what I'm doing here is just proofreading to make sure, and you will do that also when you're comparing your version to your original article. So I could do the same thing here. There might be authors, they're listed here, make sure that's correct. You just double check everything. So the reason why I'm showing you this is partly because I get a question a lot about citation machine. Is it okay to use Microsoft Word's formatting or citation machine? Well, those can be helpful to some degree. I do find that you're not going to get perfect citations, and you might lose points if you have mistakes in your reference page or in your text citation. So the best advice I can give you is just to learn how to set up your references correctly on your own and go through the process as painstaking as it is to just ensure that you have everything correct. That's all for today's writing tip. If you need writing support or you'd like feedback on your papers, please get in touch. Here's some contact information. And until next time, happy writing.